Welcome back to the 2-minute warning. Back on the topic of the MLB today. Today I am answering the question, are the San Diego Padres doomed? Obviously, last night Fernando Tatis suffered an ugly injury. It was kind of an awkward one. Obviously takes a big two-strike swing and then he falls down in pain. It was obviously an upper body injury. Turns out Fernando Tatis has a torn labrum in his right shoulder, I believe. Right or left shoulder. It's a shoulder injury. So it's not as serious as it could have been, I guess, but he's right now on the 10-day IL. And the obviously his timeout is indefinite. Obviously, it'll be more than 10 days. But before we get into the video, question of the day, and that is really for you Padres fans and guess the rest of you baseball fans in general. Do you think the Padres signing Tatis for 14 seasons was a bad idea? Obviously, try to eliminate this injury from your mind. Pretend this never happened. Just do you think it was a good or a bad idea when they signed him for 14 seasons? Because obviously there was a lot of risk going into that he would be healthy. Obviously now he's not. But I just want to hear you guys' opinion on his contract. And of course, at the end of the video, I'll give you my rundown of whether I think it was a good idea or not. But getting right into the question, are the Padres doomed? Well, I can tell you that this certainly does not look good for the long term of Tatis and this team. You sign a guy for 14 years, $340 million. You do that because right now he is becoming the face of baseball, the Patrick Mahomes of the NFL. Right now he is that of the MLB. So you signed him to be the face of your franchise, the face of the league, so and to build your team around him. So for him to be hurt 5 games into the season, 5 games into this contract is really not a good sign. Obviously, the injury, like I said, a torn labrum, a slightly torn labrum, so it's not real severe, but they're hoping to avoid surgery. I don't think this is going to be an injury that's going to ruin his career. It's not, by no means going to do that to him, but it's a bad sign. Common baseball injuries, elbow injuries, shoulder injuries, they tend to snowball from what you've seen in past players. So just the fact that he's getting this injury so early on almost guarantees that he'll struggle with being healthy for the rest of his career. And what do you know, the rest of his career is going to be in San Diego for the next 14 seasons. So the Padres, yes, they're in trouble. I don't want to say they're doomed. Obviously, unlikely, yes, but he could come around and recover from this in 4 weeks, be back on the field 50 games or 40 games into the season. Well, that would be roughly 35 games into the season, and never see another injury the rest of his career. That is certainly possible, but the odds are not in that favor. So ultimately, no, the Padres are not doomed, but they are certainly in trouble. The whole front office, GM, all of the above are really shaken right now because Tatis, your future guy, your franchise, face of the franchise, just got hurt, and now you got to play without him. And the Padres, obviously, right now, roster-wise, a favorite to win the NL, one of the favorites to win the NL outside of LA, and right now with the Braves 0-4 or 0-5, obviously it's really early in the season, but the Padres are looking good out of the NL. Can Tatis make a recovery? That's the question. What are they going to do without him? That's the question. Another question, they still have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Blake Snell just made his first start in Game 2. Yu Darvish actually got hit pretty well in the first game of the season, but they did win. So Yu Darvish, you still got Blake Snell, Dinelson Lamet, the whole 9 yards. Clevenger, who's still hurt, but Joe Musgrove. The Padres pitching staff is still very good. Still got Eric Hosmer, who's swinging the bat pretty well. Still got Manny Machado. You still got Kim, who you signed over, Ha-Seong Kim, who you signed over the offseason, Will Myers, Tommy Pham, Trent Grisham. You still have all that built around him, but what are they going to do with shortstop? Well, likely going to be Ha-Seong Kim, going to fill in for him at shortstop. Could be Jake Cronenworth. Either of those two guys are interchangeable in the middle infield. So Ha-Seong Kim, who, like I said, they just signed this offseason, very talented player out of Korea. So he's not going to be bad at shortstop. No, he won't be Jake Cronenworth the same way, and then however that works, you might throw Jerks and Profar in there in the middle infield as well. So this Padres team, I do think, can find a way to make this work without Tatis for the time being. Now, I'm not saying that this is good for the Padres long term. You don't want Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop. You don't want Jake Cronenworth at shortstop when you have Tatis on your roster, when you sign him for all that time. So obviously this is a short-term fix, but for the next for the next 2, 3, 4, 6 weeks, whatever it is that Tatis is going to be out, Cronenworth and Kim could definitely fill that void there in the middle of the infield. I don't think any of these guys are going to pick up for Tatis' slack in the lineup. Simply put, Padres are going to miss Tatis at the plate. Right now, he's not doing that well. He's got a home run. It might be his only hit. But you can't fill that gap at the plate. I'm sorry. So you're going to miss him at the plate. You're going to miss his offensive production 100%. But, again, you got to be hoping for Tatis to make a speedy recovery. Of course, I am. A lot of people are, the baseball community, hoping Tatis gets back on the field soon. But, again, Padres are not doomed. I don't want to say they're doomed, but they're certainly not in a good spot right now. Tatis is supposed to be, and he really is the future of this franchise. I don't think he's just supposed to be or he could be. I really think he is. He's got the talent. He continues to get better. He hasn't even played a full season of baseball in 2019. He didn't play even 100 games or something like that. Last year, obviously, was a 52-game season or 60 games, whatever it was. And then this year, obviously, he's only 5 games in and he's got an injury. So that, again, is the biggest red flag with Tatis. He has not played a full season yet, already having an injury like this. Again, this injury is not a torn ACL in the NFL or it's not Tommy John. It's not going to knock him out for a full season, and it's not going to end his career, but it just isn't a good sign that he's having this injury so early on in his career. So, again, I just kind of summed it all up. Padres, stay hopeful. You're not doomed. Don't worry too much about this. Pray for Tatis, have a speedy recovery. Follow along with MLB. I'm sure they're keeping him. There's a lot of jokes about MLB and Tatis, how they really post everything that he does, and that's another reason why I believe, or why he is the next face of the league. So he's a huge player that I hope has a good recovery. Of course, if you got him on your fantasy team, I'm sorry, because he was probably a very high draft pick, and now he's not going to be putting out for the next month. More likely, like I said, he's on a 10-day IL. But that's obviously temporary. He might end up on 4 straight 10-day ILs, and then that puts him out for just over a month. So that's what I'm looking at. And as far as the question of the day, was it about he to sign Tatis? I liked it, honestly. Of course, I'm staying impartial to the injury. Prior to that, I really liked it. It was he's the best player right now, most electric player, whatever. I guess he's not quite the best shortstop in the league. I'd still probably take Seager right now or Lindor at the moment, but he's got the most room to grow. He's the youngest, best shortstop in the league. He's the future of your franchise, future of the league itself. I liked the contract. The money was fair. It was a lot, but over 14 years. So overall, stay hopeful, Padres fans. It was a good idea to sign Tatis for that long, and for the time being, you still got him. Just hope he makes a speedy recovery. Guys, thanks for watching. 2-minute warning.